Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the program is starting now. Shall we all rise up for the national anthem? The state anthem. A round of applause, we can take our seats. May I warmly welcome you all to the two-day workshop organized by your State's branch of the Nigerian League of Companies. I would like to recognize the Honorable Commissioner for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, His Honor, Mr. Akinilayo Williams. He promised to join us as the program goes by. The National President, NITP, Taplana Nathaniel Atebije, FNITP, the state's NITP Chairman, Taplana Professor Musbao Jehiyamaki. I also recognize the presence of members of the Council of Fellow, Taplana Professor Laye in your BFN I believe it should be on his way, he was here with us yesterday. Taplana Kechio Yekunle FNITP, Taplana Niron Yewale FNITP, Taplana Duro Sesson FNITP, Taplana Moses Ogunleye FNITP, Taplana Olajide Kamoro FNITP, Taplana Aroshegbe OS FNITP. Esteemed Taplanners, it is with honor that I am you here today to compare this program, and I would like to call on Taplana Taufik Akinola for the opening prayer.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We sincerely thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us another opportunity to witness a new day. So the heart. We thank Him, we glorify Him, we thank Him for everything He has been doing for us. We thank Him for the opportunity of life. We departed yesterday, and we promise that we will meet again today for the second day of this program. And by His special grace, He has made it possible for us. We thank Him for this. We want to start another program today. We pray to assist us and let us be another program as He did for us yesterday. May God Almighty answer our prayer and grant us the best of desire of our hearts. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahil azim. Sallu ala nabiyil karim.
Thank you so much. We're swiftly moving on to the welcome remark, which will be handled by Taplana Ali Balogun, the State NITP Secretary, and one of the key organizers of the workshop. You're welcome.
Thank you, Lord. In recognition of the Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development of the State, Mr. Williams Akinfunlayo, Environment Secretary, I recognize the National President, Nigerian of Town Planning, Nathaniel Atibidi, my Chairman, NITP of the State, Town Planner Professor Jelili Omakin, distinguished elders of the institutes, the elders of the institutes in Oyo State chapter, our distinguished guests from Lagos, from Osun, from Ogun, from Ekiti, all through the western state of Nigeria and from far, dear, cherished and valued town planners in Oyo State chapter. I humbly welcome everybody to the day 2 of the capacity development workshop. The theme of this workshop, as you know, promoting professionalism and effective town planning service delivery. This is a topic that is carrying out to develop the practice of the profession, most importantly in our state, and also in other states of the Federation. We keenly look into designing this topic, looking into the image of the profession before the public, the results of the practice before the public and the government, and looking around on how to harmonize all these key issues to develop the professionals that practice professions in Oyo State so that we can achieve the best of the standard that we expect for the development of the profession in the state and in the federation generally. Today, being day 2 of the program, we have 2 major papers to be presented, after which the rapporteur process will follow and the community of the project will be announced. All distinguished resource persons that presented paper yesterday were humbly recognized, and same thing goes to everyone that will be standing before you today to give their papers. I welcome you on behalf of all members of the Institute in Oyo State. Welcome to Oyo State. We wish you a good stay while you are here. And on behalf of my chairman and the executive committee, I welcome all members of the chapters that are here right now.
Oyo State, pàápàá jùlọ ìlú Ìbàdàn. Bàbá rẹ̀ tí ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń wá bí fún bá. Planner Dr. Alex Shewo will be part of the discussant. I'm made to know that he's not available. Okay, the chairman of the session will be Planner DME OA. Planner Adeyemi Olujide Akere. The rapporteur is going to be Dr. Olamiju. And the discussants are Planner Arowo Shepe, and Planner Mrs. Bimbo Seso. The paper will be presented by Planner Shiraji. I will hand over to the chairman to conduct the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, members of the and invitees, headers in the house. You are all welcome. Now we will start in air. But we'll do it kind of surgical something to make it very brief and straight to the point. Within our little time, the time will be allocated to this. Our presenters usually why our resource surrounding give them just 10 minutes. Then it's another 10 minutes we go to the floor for either questions or contributions. And after which our rapporteurs will come and tell us the summary of what the lecture is all about. And everyone that want to contribute as well, want to listen, then I wish us a happy stay, and let's be calm and listen very well. You are welcome all once again.
We are looking to share the slide with you, but I believe it's already on the state's WhatsApp platform. But for the benefit of those who visited from other states, please bear with us.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Permit me to stand on the well-established protocol by our Igbo MC has actually established the protocol very well in order. And the MC was also, I think it was also in the spirit, of the paper that we are about to consider, because I've been contemplating how I can present do the presentation in Yoruba. Then I said, okay, if I can't do it, I will do the greetings in Yoruba. And when I saw him greeting us in Yoruba, talking about Amala and Begiri, I said, this guy is in tune, with the spirit of this people, because it's about going to the grassroots. So it's about taking planning out of our air-conditioned offices and going to the people. So the topic is planning with communities for sustainable physical planning practices. So as a way of introduction or background, we want to look at sustainable development practices in urban planning. We are planners and have decided to leave out a lot of definitions and things that has to do with sustainable planning. That is what we have been doing over the years. But when we talk about sustainable development practice, I think we need to look into that. And this involves the systematic and coordinated development and organization of physical spaces to optimize land use, infrastructure, and the environment. And these practices are essential for managing urban growth, guiding development, and ensuring that resources are used efficiently. We know that all over the world now, the key word in development now is sustainability. And sustainability is that kind of development practice that takes care of the social, the economic, and the environmental aspect of development to create a balance that is making it to be economically viable to be environmentally bearable or friendly and to be socially inclusive. So we want to look at some of these practices because we say planning with the community, in sustainable physical planning practices. What are these practices? Number one is incorporating green infrastructure, that is strategically placing parks, green spaces, and urban forests within our urban areas or cities. And as we are going through this, I want us to be, extreme needs in the light of our practices, whether we are doing this or not. I know we are doing physical planning, but this will guide us, to evaluate ourselves whether we are really doing sustainable practices in physical planning. Incorporating this green infrastructure, we all know climate change is a big issue. Before now it has been a debate whether it is a scam, whether it is real, whether it is not real. But now it has come, it has brought on us as reality now. We can see what we are experiencing even here in Nigeria. We can see what is happening with the weather and all that. So incorporating this green infrastructure, help to reduce, to absorb. The main causes of the climate change is the greenhouse gas emission, majorly carbon dioxide. And this green forests, they help to absorb this carbon dioxide, so that they will not have severe effects, on the environment and on the people too. Then another thing is mixed-use zoning. Mixed-use zoning, that a practice that encourages the integration of various land uses within the same urban area, and this reduces the need for long commutes and promotes walkability. So when we have this kind of practice or design for our urban center, it reduces the need for people to be traveling long distances, so that within the community we cite facilities and services that people will require. Somebody will not need to leave money here and have to go to Ring Road. It's burning fuel, it's emitting carbon dioxide, and also it's taking time. Then public transportation and active transportation. So this involves investing in efficient public transit system, such as buses, trams, subways, and creating pedestrian and cyclist-friendly infrastructure. I don't know how many of our community, take Ibadan for instance, that people can say they want to ride bicycle. I've been in places where I've seen even bank manager riding bicycle, to the bank. So can you do it here? So then sustainable building practices. The construction and operation of buildings, how to impact on cities' environmental footprint. So sustainable development practices in urban planning encourage the adoption of green building standards and energy efficient designs, that is having green roofs and others. Then inclusive and equitable housing. So when we develop housing that are affordable and accessible, not the one that is only for the rich. But recently the developer, one of the developer or infrastructure partner with the state government, he has a site of about 25 hectares, somewhere in Ibadan here, and he was able to access the climate green fund. There's the fund, climate green fund. He was successful in accessing it. So he has prepared done his layout design and all that. So I think last week. So he was telling me that they called him that if they will release the fund to him, he has to redesign the layout. He has to make half of that 25 hectares low-income housing. So that is part of sustainable practice. Then climate resilience and adaptation, and of course community engagement and participation, which is the core of this presentation. So I want us to quickly look at the sustainable development goal. We know that they call it the global goal. So, and as town planners, we also have a role to play, critical role to play in the achievement of this SDG. So the SDG 11, I believe that for that SDG, the 17, there are 17 of them, to be achieved, the role of planners are, indispensable. But there are some that are directly, affecting us, and that is SDG 11. It says make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. And if you want to make something inclusive, then you have to work, with various stakeholders. You have to cut across every barrier. And some of the, sub-objective of that goal is safe and affordable housing. So as planners, if we are doing safe and affordable housing, it's part of sustainable practices. Affordable and sustainable transport system, inclusive and sustainable urbanization, protect the world's cultural and natural heritage. Some of our heritage sites, what is happening to them? Reduce the adverse effects of natural disasters, reduce the environmental impact of cities, provide access to safe and inclusive green and public spaces, just like we have said, strong national and regional development planning, then implement policies for inclusion, resource efficiency, and disaster risk reduction. So if this will guide us, if we are working, alongside this goal, we'll be achieving, we'll be really practically doing sustainable practices, and we'll be, achieving the global goal in our own corner. Now, planning with communities. So there are diverse definitions by several definitions of community, both academic and professional. But I choose to adopt this one by the United Nations. They say that community is often a geographical subset of society at the local level. They say a community can be defined by commonalities such as, but not limited to, norms, religion, shared interests, customs, values, and needs of civilians. Then the word community is also brought out used to define groups of people, whether they are stakeholders, interest groups, or citizen groups. So a community may be a geographic location, that is community of place. Then it can be community of similar interest, that is community of practice. Like as we are now, we are a community of town planners, because we share common interest. Or it can be by affiliation and so on. Then community engagement. So community engagement is the process of working collaboratively with and through groups of people to address issues affecting the well-being of those people. So the key word here is working collaboratively with, not working for them, but working with them. And it has to be meaningful, it has to be transparent, it has to be continuous. So, when we talk of community engagement, we have to do it right from the inception of the planning process or projects. So it's not something that we do later, we do it, and there must be a plan, to support it. So I have can it be displayed there? That is slide 8. you see a picture, and that is one of the tools of community engagement. Sometimes you have to use visual tools that people can understand. So it has to do with education, consultation, communication, partnership, participation, extension. So it's all engagement. And what are the core values of community engagement? So according to the International Association of Public Participation, community engagement is based on the belief that those who are affected by decision have a right to be involved in the decision-making process. That is, the people who want to work with, the people who want to support. Our role is the role of supporter, facilitator. So, and they must be assured that they have a right to be involved. Then, it includes the promise that the public's contribution will influence the decision. Not that you just gather them together and that is all they know about the program or the project. They are the decision that was taken together must count. Then it promotes sustainable decision by recognizing and communicating the needs and interests of all participants, including decision makers. Then community engagement seeks out and facilitates the involvement of those potentially affected by or interested in the decision, because they are stakeholders. And when we say stakeholders has to do with the issue that we want to address, the people that are causing the issue, they are important. The people that are affected by that issue, they are important. And the people that has resources, either technical resources or financial resources, to provide solution to that issue at hand, they can. So they are all stakeholders. Okay, let's see some guiding principles of effective community engagement. So principles of successful community engagement include those that increase citizens' knowledge about a community and how the issue you are seeking to address. It must be something that we add to them, add to their knowledge. Then encourage citizens to co-create additional knowledge and understanding and apply that knowledge. Then use that knowledge to improve the community or address the identified problem. Then create future opportunities for citizens to engage each other. Then ensure that these opportunities and effective communication becomes a regular and ongoing component of the process. So not this, we serve as, a check for accountability. Because we will get there. We have seen some projects or programs that are undertaken either in Nigeria here or even in Oyo State here. So they just happen as an event. They happen and you don't hear anything again. Maybe it may lead to a plan. Like we are talking about the Ibadan City Master Plan and some other plans like that. You don't hear anything. If the community engagement was properly done, the people will ask questions. People will ask questions, not just we planners. Market women will ask questions. The artisans will ask questions. Then framework for citizens engagement. The engagement is guided by this framework. Number one, at the base is inform. So inform. Sorry, you can display. Let them see. Oh, the guys disappear. Okay. So we have it on our platform. So inform. Then stage 2 is consultation. You consult. Then stage 3 is collaboration. Collaborate. Then empower. That should be the end.
end products, if I can say that, of a community engagement. It must empower the people. It must not leave the people the same way it met them. Then benefits of community engagement increase the likelihood that projects or solutions will be widely accepted. Citizens who participate in this process show significant commitment to help make the projects happen. So if you do this, when people participate and the process is transparent, you already have what we call social license, to that whatever you are coming up with will be accepted. Then create more effective solution, improve citizens' knowledge and skill in problem solving, empower and integrate people from different backgrounds. Then it creates local networks of community members. In fact, you can raise leaders, from the community in the process that can take on, the project or the program. Then it creates several opportunities for discussions concerns. It increases trust, and that is very important. It increases trust in community organization and governance, because that is one area where most of the programs and projects, fail. There is no trust. Whenever there's a new thing coming, people will say, this one too will go the same way. So that trust is important. Then I have some 14 processes guided by best practice that have been reported. That is Uberman 2014. Secure strong leadership. Establish a formal structure. So you don't just jump in. There must be, like I said the other time, you can have a micro plan. Something must be guiding you. Then engage diverse organizations, community leaders, and residents, so as to be all inclusive. Then ensure authentic participation and share decision making. Not just participation, but authentic participation. Ensure authentic and productive roles for young people. Then develop a shared vision. Create a strategic plan. Then conduct a needs assessment. Conduct a needs, and that one has its skill also. Implement mutually reinforcing strategies. Create a fundraising strategy. That one is key also. Because no matter the quality of your plan, when there are no resources to implement it, it ends up in the shelf. So as town planners, we must have that skill also. Fundraising. There are courses in fundraising. Establish effective channels for internal communication. Educate the community, conduct process and outcome evaluations, evaluate the community mobilization effort separately. Then I quickly want to look at practical areas of working with communities. As town planners, what are the practical areas? One, in the preparation and design of development guides. Maybe land subdivision plans, community regeneration plans, etc. I don't know how long we will keep talking about our core areas, Bere, Udie, and Foko, and all that. How can we rescue the situation there? It is by working with these people. We can collaborate. We can if we follow all this, you educate, you engage, you deliberate. Then together we now come up, with a plan that is implementable, because they also have input in it that okay, we don't want this situation again. But there's no way we can force any plan on them that it will work. And even some other area, the so-called new area, see what they are turning into. They are turning into slum. But families what we are seeing in places like in some Asian countries, town planners, work with the community, they prepare development plans for them, and something like a land swap. And because sometimes they are constrained, by finances, they cannot pay for the professional service. So, and they take land, so they can use some of their plots, to pay for the services, while a practicable, implementable plan is established, for orderly development, and it will be win-win for everybody. Then utilizing indigenous knowledge. So we don't go to them as lecturers, classroom or boardroom, directors. Just listen out instruction. You have to identify with them. They also, in Yoruba, okay, I'm more also. Yes. So they are the one, they know their terrain. There are useful information. There was a time, I think in the early 2000s, there was an intervention for waste management in the Badon here. And they brought some imported waste game. There are places, some strategic locations in the city. But, before you know it, people, when the heap of refuse was just springing up around those drums. So instead of putting them there, and there is sometimes there will be fire, and some people that are selling, but they are not that, they will put their own fire too. And those things are being destroyed. Some of my gas here will connect. Then later, an evaluation was done. It's easy to say these people, they don't have sense. These people are they go wrong. So when the review was done, we now, with the community, we now told them, okay, they come up with their excuses, and we realized that what was brought, is what used in another culture, where adults are the one that are dumping refuse. But in our own case, it is the children that are dumping. So the thing is too high for the children. So when they got there, they just put it on the ground. So that is the cultural aspect and the indigenous aspect, to development. Then mapping community assets. So we can work with the community to take inventory of existing resources, like their green spaces, water bodies, cultural landmarks, and all that. Then we can do policy advocacy and collaboration. We can educate them. Like now, the Oyo State government is doing what we call participatory budgeting, which is a good thing. You are not going to community, to get their input. But when they are not guided, we are the ones, planners. We can work with the community ahead of when the government will take the budget to them, to help them identify what are the critical needs, they are. So in rounding up, I look at some homegrown example that we can say they have element of community engagement even in our state. We have the Oyo State Community and Social Development Agency. That was former LEM. Then the Badon Flood Management Project, they utilize community engagement, preparation of the Badon City Master Plan, then the participatory project, like I said, of the government, then the recent establishment of Oyo State Mobilization Agency for Social and Economic Development, that is massive. Then recently, I think like 2 weeks ago, the president also appointed some senior special assistants on citizens engagement, and they are tasked, to go to their various geopolitical zones to engage directly with their people on the programs, of the government, and to bring feedback. But my poster here that I want us to discuss is that most of these agencies that I've talked about or projects, do we have planners there? Do we have planners there? Planners are not there. And another process is people like doctors are here. Why is it that when World Bank, United Nations, UN Habitat, or when they are having projects in developing countries, even in Nigeria here, when they are establishing a project, it has to be led by a town planner. But once their hand is off, town planners will be out. So I want us to deliberate on that. Maybe there is something we are not doing about our profession and we are being shortchanged. So in summary, integration of community input. We have to incorporate community perspective to lead to more relevant and sustainable urban planning. Then the role of planners act, we act as facilitators. We guide communities through the planning process and help them to translate their needs into practical solutions. Then creating resilient communities. We engage communities. When they are engaged, they are better equipped to maintain and adapt urban spaces for future generations.
Thank you. God bless you. Let's give a round of applause for him. But he has done a very beautiful job. They are putting us on the toe. Now we should look inward into several things he has put forward as a goal to us. What we are supposed to do that we have failed to do as a planner. What we do, but we fail to believe that the job is not meant for us, it's for somebody else. Then when time comes, we'll discuss that. Thank you so much for your brilliant presentation. Now we go back to our discussants. They will not have to base and give us a leverage in which where we can sustain our environment. Basically, as I said, we know much about our environment individually. But the one thing that I believe that is happening is that everybody believes the world belongs to everybody and is for nobody. When it is for nobody and nobody takes responsibility, then what we are experiencing is what is being on, what is going to be experiencing and going on. But in as much we attach certain things to people and we are expecting results from them, we will go a long way to resolve our problems in our community. Rightly because my brother lives in Ibadan, he mentioned our boy area. And that has been a very good area for Bramusis as well. He was highly acquainted with those areas. Right now, he was one of the anglers of certain projects in that environment. Besides Burial, Jago, and some other areas. And still, it's only we just write a paper, nothing concrete has been done to that area today. One of our brothers was away. He was saying all certain things on our platform, taking us into memory lane that we should look inward and see what happens in other countries of the world. And we believe we are practicing planning, doing this, doing that. But the job is for who? And who is to handle what? Until we give the responsibility to people and we back them up, either here or there. Like I said in advocacy, thank God, like I revert to Dr. Musa. And all once a time he was working with one paper. And since then, he wrote a lot. And we read. Most of us read the paper, the magazines, and the rest. And since then now, what have we been doing? To even bring that into our practice. Let our discussion continue. Then I'll go to my left part. Let the woman say the whole word now.
Thank you, sir. All protocol be observed. Let me first appreciate the presenter. You have done justice to your topic. Yes, let me just start by joking within, because when we are talking about, if you want to lead the presentation this morning, I said, okay, it's the lecturer. I said, no, I'm not lecturer. But I put it to you that you have done more than even do. So I appreciate you for that. So, going by the topic, planning with the community for sustainable physical practice. Who are the communities? We are the communities. And how do we plan our environment? And that is the center of this topic. And he has done justice to it by starting the presentation with different definitions of sustainability, community, and the rest. And with that, it lets us know that if you want to have a sustainable environment, then you need to plan with the community. Plan with the grassroots people. Not just plan for them, but you plan with them. It talks about how we can plan our community with different forms, like involving our environment by the green infrastructure. Yes, we have been talking about greening here and there, but how many of us have implemented that? I put it to all of us here in our own residential abode. How many of us well landscape and environment to mitigate against climate change? Yes, I know some of us, we have concrete all the floors in our environment or in our residential area, all because I don't want all in my area to be rich. But we are planners, and this paper is telling us that green infrastructure is an important aspect for us to have a sustainable environment. So it talks about mixed development zoning, that when you integrate different uses, then you're able to say that yes, you have a complete environment, that you don't need to look for some other things elsewhere when you have all that is needed. And that one takes us to when we are talking about our neighborhood design. All these land private development, they are not even taking into consideration a well-designed layout. Even if you design it well for them, by the time they get to site, they will do otherwise. But because there is nothing to do, because we don't monitor the development, so and that gives them the audacity to do whatever they like, even if they get the approval of the correct layout. But yes, they do something else. So, as for sustainability, when we are talking about sustainability, we are talking about planning the existing situation without jeopardizing the future generation. So, are we into that? I think he has really done more on that. So, it talks about how do we plan our community? Planning with the community, support them, promoting sustainability, and lot more. I don't want to presenting another paper because it has done well to that. So it's talks about guiding principle for effective community engagement. We need to encourage them by planning with them, like I said. Then it talks about the framework. Yes, that is one of the important things when we are talking about sustainability. Sustainable community. You need to inform them, consult them, know what they need. It's not just go to the community. Yes, I think they need borehole, then you give it to them. What if they need something else? But you are giving them borehole, but they need something else. But by the time you engage, you inform them, okay, we have some plan for this community to plan. So they'll be able to tell you, this is what we need. Then you plan along there. Then how does this community engage benefit the people in the community? It talks a lot about that. In terms of involving them in the project, opportunity, trust, which is the most important thing when we are talking about society. Even among us, I think some of the resource persons yesterday talked about this, that is, we need to trust ourselves. The junior one did not trust their ogas, and we need to correct this notion so that we can move forward and for the betterment of our profession. So it talks about conducting need assessment, develop a shared plan, and effective channel for communication. One of the major problems that we are facing in this profession is communication gap. Because some of us find it difficult to communicate with the people. that yes, this is what we have for you. But when you are unable to present this thought to God, you will change this to something else. And he mentioned about how do we work with the community by planning, design, education, partnership, and lot more. And he talks about some agencies that are involved in sustainable development. He talks about flood management. I think that one has been existing for about going to almost 2 decades now. So I remember one of my MSc projects was centered on the governance arrangement for flood management. And the role that Ibadan flood management is playing in flood management is big. Yes, cannot be underestimated. So on that, let me come to the end of my own summary of what the presenter has just said. But I will put this to us that sustaining our environment is all our activities, not just anyone, but all of us, if you want our environment to be sustainable. And we should try and plan and practice green infrastructure. Thank you.
Round of applause. Thank you for our resource person. He has done with all of those today. But at the same time, let's just look at all these saying or being says again. Who is to do what? Are we, the government, or the community? Now the part of the community, like she said, how are we going to do? How are we going to go about it? Like if everything has some money, at least the monetary gain, you might not go anywhere. There are a lot of things we do that won't harm us anything. Because you can't be paying all your services. Like somebody will ask you, Jide, what product are you selling? What is your service? And you say you are planning. It's only to have a plan now. Say, be a plan now. I be architect. I be fuga. Make you want to say okay? You see, that is the biopic knowledge about it. Otimoma, they want soil. One they let you because our like he said, we learn communication. And that's the bedrock of the job. Without being moving closer to the community, you might not get the best of them. Thank you so much. My second point.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I want to appreciate the guest lecturer, all the presenter, as well as Mrs. West. They have done a good job. And I want to start on why Mrs. West was stop. We are all in this together. And like the gentleman said, how do we distribute the functions that we are talking about? We are talking of we. Looking around this, or we are all time planners. We have time planners in academics, we have time planners who are consultants, and we have planners who are in the ministry. Let me first talk to those in the ministry. One, you are working with the policymakers. The question now is, how do you influence those policies? Because we have been talking of transplants, not only in Oyo State, it happens in Ogun State. And I could see the government said, I think that at a point in time they were about to approve a plan. At the EXCO level, they just asked the state planning officer over there to come before the day. And before the day, things changed. That governor, you want to spend 5 million on a piece of paper, whereby you can develop my father's road with that 5 million, and you are going to get about 8,000 votes. And that's the end of that plan. They have forgotten that if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Let's think of that. How do we influence?
Like Madam said, and the presenter said, let us trust ourselves. All of us cannot be leaders at the same time. If I am saying, no, rally around me, make me feel free, make my brain free so that I can think and I can convince the power that speaks. Because all of us cannot be there. And when they are taking decisions, it is only those who are able to contribute. Secondly, we are talking of decision making. How many of us are politicians? Even the one that we recognize as the ambition, right from home we keep that ambition. It won't rise. The practitioners, the consultants, talk to us, come to our market. We will arrange for you. But for us to use our market or shops to come and listen to you, and that is where the communication ends. We can't go to their market, they can't come to us. How do we want them to appreciate what we are talking about or what we intend to do? We must find time. And in going there, don't forget that we are all government workers. Aside from government workers, we have practitioners too, and we want to make our ends meet. If not, they will send away our children from school, and we don't pray for that one. So how do we find the balance of meeting them if they cannot meet us? I think there's a saying that if mountain will not go to Mohammed, Mohammed will go to mountain. Not only the traders, let's engage the policymakers too, the one we call administrators. They don't understand us. They don't even understand what we are doing than to collect bribe. It goes beyond that. Let's talk to them. Let's find a way of talking to them, not as an individual, as group. And those individuals who are close to them, let's talk to them. We can talk to them. They understand us. They trust you. Hide on that trust, ride on that trust, and maybe they will listen to you. Let me stop here. A round of applause. If we are with Mr. Rosegbe.
A lot of points came out during the contribution. Where are we is the first question, and where are we going is the next one. And how to go there to achieve our aims and plans. Now, sustainability. By the time I was in the service, before I left the service, I know we have a lot of projects. Everything was just key to the box and die like that. And it's not even our problem. Like everybody gets to us as a ministry. That has been happening in all the western region, the states, the western states, per se. It's only the difference that are there when you compare that Lagos and Ogun State. We are more or less on the same line. Because the same policymakers that are doing something for us, they have not changed. And they will not change until we move to change. And how do we do it? When you want to get into a position, you hardly look to your parent face to face. Therefore, you can't talk. Or you know you cannot get to where you are going. If you want to be a good brother all the time, man, you may not be a good husband in your house. A revenue. Before you know it, that person you are aiming to help will destroy you and help you to be. And that is the broad problems of the planners and the planning in every state in western states. When you talk of western region, like I was saying, well, we can now say Lagos is improving and Lagos is moving. Why Lagos is moving is because they have a law and they have punishment attached to each. Anybody that's crossed that boundary. But in Oyo State, our lights that is lighting the streets and the traffic and transportation, whatever it is, nobody punishes the offenders. When these lights say stop, that's part of planning, that's part of community something. That's, well, the reason why she is not supposed to say it. We should go down for our people, educate them. We should save our egos. I have to run an educated person. I have to say language in my own way. I want to know Kali again, you want Kali. And I will tell you why. That's indigenous intelligence is there. Everybody need to say, I'm sorry to use this. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I will begin to say sorry. Because we passed through that stuff as well. Ọmọ tó kọ́ sí mechanic or by secondary school. Tí professor or a doctor or any one of us. That one that specialize as engineer or whatever. That one gbé mọ́tò wà lọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀. Dáàbì kí ló ṣe mọ́tò yìí? Èmi ọmọ tí ò gba school kọjá sọ pé ẹ sí náná. Ẹ bá ti ṣe English yẹn. Á ń dáàbì ẹ̀pá yọ̀ọ̀bà nǹkan méjì tí kan wáyé. Àdètò káwọn yẹn wọ educated. I will say the tailor tó máa design aṣọ fún yín fún wa tí ọ̀gá ẹ̀ bá ti kọ all others fall in place olóma máa ronú inú wa àwọn tó dáì ẹ̀jẹ̀ náà tó fi tì yín ní ẹ má jẹ́ kó tó bá kò lè kàwé. But in as much we fail to set our egos, you may not achieve anything. Those ideologies, they are millionaires. But they only want people to put them on the right track. To make sure, Mama, and you survive. But we don't have time. I believe when we go back with this very thing, we have the opportunity to attend today, sincerely. Our thinking, our looking, everything will change, I believe. Now, I want to throw you to the floor. Before the last person will now, Doctor will run everything off for us. We give you 10 minutes. Let's contribute. Let's ask questions. Let's do whatever we want to ask. I can see a hands up. If we have, okay, making two. I won't waste time because it's just 10 minutes. We need just 3. 1, 2. We need a female. He's a bad young say. I just say nothing. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I'm standing on the existing protocol, and I appreciate the lecturer for what he has really done concerning the topic. But there's something that I believe we are still missing, practically or theoretically. Theoretically, in his paper, I want to see something related to key performance indicator attached to each actors within the area you have cited. From there, we can see whether we are tending towards greenness or not, whether we are doing the right thing or not. That key performance indicator is a metric to measure whether something is done in the right way or not. Then practically, when we come back, we can see. For example, when I was coming this morning, I passed through golf area near recreation club, near recreation club here. When I passed through the place, I saw some wole or these sanitary officers, environmental officers. I saw them, and I parked. When I parked, I asked them what they were trying to, all this long time rubbish. They were trying to evacuate it. They are now saying, did you talk to the people that have used this place before, attitudinally, whether they have changed? Because when you remove this one now, they will still come back and do the same thing.
So we need to study that aspect. Then, why I am talking of key performance indicator, anybody in that arena, anybody in that arena, they should try to give him the key performance indicator to show whether he's doing the right or not. I mean, overseeing the place.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Another person here, sir. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate the lecturer and the discussants. They have actually taught the areas. And it boils down to one thing again. We have continued in our era of lamentation. We have always identified what the problems are, but we never take the step to redress the situation or address the issues concerned. Basic problem, we all know that there is the need for us to engage these people. But possibly out of arrogance, ego, or lack of understanding, we feel we are educated, we are illiterate. We feel we have the authority because we have the government machinery behind us. We don't need them. You think you have the authority and you use it, we are only misusing it. There is a miscommunication and discommunication between us. We are only planning for these people, not planning with them. If they are not there, there's no need for us to be employed. We practice our employment because we must do an assignment. And the assignment is not in our own rooms, but for the people and with the people. So, the miscommunication there is when they see us. Even yesterday, we agreed here, when you see this heads, it is come and see us. That was the miscommunication. Whereas the meaning is that instead of people, when we paste a notice, they may not be able to read. Àwọn tí ń ka èèyàn wọ́n ti débi, àwọn tó fẹ́ fún ọmọ lábẹ́rẹ́ immunization wọ́n ti débi. But when you see the red mark, danger, ìjọba nìjí o, let me run there. Interpretation lọ́dọ̀ tiwa clear to sí tiwọn. Miscommunication nìyẹn. Then miscommunication, and that boils down to the fact that we see ourselves as an island. I was telling somebody yesterday, I had a lesson about 2 months ago in UCA. I went for medical checkup. There was nowhere for me to park. I had to go and park in the mosque, and I was going to LOP, and I had to trek over 1.2 kilometers to get to my clinic. And what happened? They have converted the 5 car parks in UCH to structures. Who are the people to use these structures? You are building, island apartments, 5-story buildings without parking. You have vested emergency. I'm sorry. So, eventually, I was fortunate to meet with the CMD that day. I was not looking for him, but I remember mo ti pariwo àwọn tó mọ̀ mí náà bros wọn dà kí ló dé kíní kan. Along the line, the CMD was passing. One of them just called me, CMD, it's not, we went to him, and on our feed we spoke for 45 minutes. He was surprised that what you are telling us, we don't know. We have physical planning, and they are professors.
Thank you.
They have physical planning department in UI. They have and they are headed by engineers.
you have any other thing to contribute, that's not going to be the contribution. You can write it and send it down to Secretary. And even Dr. A, I know that one very soon. I know that a lecturer, and you have a note, but please put it in writing and send it down. We will use it. The third person.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. While our resource person want to start his paper, he started by introducing green infrastructure to us. And on this note, mine is not a question, but a kind of admonition to all of us. The benefit of this green infrastructure is very much that we need to accomplish it and make sure it exists with us. Now, you can see all the environment. Most of our conversion is being done on the altar of sacrificing green infrastructure for residential development. We all know the impact of it resulting into climatic change. But I want to admonish the NITP to please embark on the kind of campaign for green infrastructure. Let us try and ensure that we have a better campaign for maybe tree planting, tree canopy, and even in as individuals. Most of our houses, you can find that they are all being landscaped with green. Let us turn to green and make sure that our health and well-being is ensured.
Thank you. God bless you. Sorry and apologies. I said 3, but incidentally, somebody has one corner there just. Let's give him 1 minute to tell us what. 1 minute. Just 1 minute.
Thank you for that recognition, sir. I want to applaud the presenter. I think in his presentation, he has made us to know certain things we need to do, to plan with people. And I put my own contribution down that as a planner, we need to get ourselves engaged in our community, various communities. Try to, as a landlord association, let your impact be felt within your community so that you will know that there is planner within the community. Get engaged in what they do and educate them more about the services of town planners. Thank you. I also have this that town planners, or let me say the institute, we need to get more engaged in publicity. Whereby we can have some animation, we can sponsor appeals, we can sponsor advertisement on radio program, on television program, and stuff like that, so that we know that we are for community, not that community is for us.
Thank you.
God bless.
Now, one of us is the random of everything. Somebody that will give us the summary of what we do is money. Is an arrogant man. He has got a lot of across going here and there to know. I can call him a doctor in usage who operates the kind of surgical something. Thank God we will limit it because it's no more practitioner or a lecturer. He's an academician now. We will limit him to our own time. We don't want to be bored so much. Dr. Moses, I believe you will round everything up. But I will limit you, sir. Oh, doctor, sorry. I know the lecturers. I'm sorry. The lecturers want to put everything down. But we don't have time to assimilate everything. Please summarize it. Emma will finish. Thank you, sir.
Permit me to stand on the listening to God. I appreciate the chairman of the session and every one of us for listening to the session. Our lecturer is town planner Sheon Raji, and the topic for the paper is planning with communities for sustainable physical planning practices. Like the chairman has given me a warning before I am at the podium, I will just summarize by going to specific things that I feel In his message to us, he emphasized the importance of incorporating green infrastructure into our development. We must achieve sustainable development. And with great emphasis, he made us realize that that is the only mitigation that seems visible at present to tackle the imminence of climate change. He also emphasized mixed-use zoning as another strategy to ensure sustainable physical planning. And that will enable us to be able to reduce long distance that we travel over time. When development are mixed, it gives room for workability. We can increase the physical ability involvement of the community. And consequently, we also improve their health. So we are able to get more when we do that. He emphasized efficient public transport system, and specifically, according to him, that will reduce the pollution that we emit in our physical environment. He mentioned adoption of green building standards and energy efficient designs. And also, he emphasized that we should prioritize inclusive and equitable housing for all, so that housing can become very affordable to the masses. Specific emphasis was also made on designing infrastructure and buildings that are resilient to extreme events. Recent times we know that we are in seasons of extreme events. People are exposed to extreme events. So, as planners, we should contribute our quota to ensure that the kind of infrastructure we bring on are the ones that can help the community to mitigate extreme events. Being one of the major tenets of his lecture, he emphasized the importance of community engagement. And in his explanation, he clarified the categories of community that we have. We have community of people and community that is interest-based, a community that is professional-based, among whom we have. So, he identified a ladder of steps that involve consultation, communication, participation, partnership, education, and extension. That these are steps to achieving equitable and sustainable community engagement. In his teaching, he made us realize that of the Sustainable Development Goals 17 number, specifically Sustainable Development Goal 11, which emphasizes making cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable, is core to us as town planners. I will not necessarily go through all the characteristics in mention of that particular goal. In his lecture, he made us realize that as town planners, we are facilitators of community engagement, and we should make most of that privilege. Just to wrap it up so that I don't take more time.
Decorum, please.
There are practical areas, according to our guest lecturers, that we should get involved in order to collaborate with the community. He said we should involve the communities in the preparation and development of guides for subdivision and plans. This will give us the privilege to educate the community, to engage them, and collaborate with them in order to involve designs that are workable and that can be managed by the community. He also emphasized that we should map out plans involving the communities so that taking inventory of resources of the community becomes an easy task. And then it will help us to also cut costs. When we engage them, they will make us understand what the resources of the community are without necessarily having to tax ourselves rigorously. Then we should partner with them and also engage them to understand their indigenous ways of handling environmental matters, so that when we understand this, we can upgrade that knowledge and then it becomes more sustainable for them to continue to manage the resources in their environment. In the conclusion of his message, of his teaching, he identified some case studies of homegrown projects where that require the services of urban planners. Specifically mentioned by your State Community and Social Development Agency, Ibadan Urban Flood Management Project, preparation of the City Master Plan, with a poster that some of these development projects, planners are found wanting, especially in recent times. And that's a question they pose to us that we should deliberate upon. The discussants have done a lot of that, and now we can increase our participation in the development in all these projects. Our representations are needed. TPL Arugo Shebe charged us as town planners that we should work on how we can redistribute the supposed functions of planners, especially among the stakeholders. Specific charges given to planners in the civil service, to those who are consultants, and those ones in the academia. We just pray we'll be able to make use of all those advices given. We are encouraged to also strategize to ensure that the desired dream that we have about our future cities, we should work hand in hand, collaboratively, as professionals in the youth environment to ensure they really come to light. Thank you all for listening.
A round of applause. We appreciate everybody for patiently sitting without moving here and there, for the opportunity given to us, individual, our lecturer, the resource persons. Thank you all. Thank you, and we continue to enjoy more lectures.
Thank you everybody for listening. Please a round of applause. Distinguished town planners, permit me to welcome to the high table the representative for the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, ably represented by Mr. Raji Maruf Olayide. He is the Director, Admin and Supply. Please come to the high table. The Commissioner of Lands, Housing and Urban Development might join us soon. And we also call on the Director of Physical Development Control, the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, the person of Town Planner Akewale Olufemi. Please proceed to the item, sir. They will be warmly joined by Kaplan Akeji Oyewale Oyekunle FLITP. Please join the high table. The commissioner might be around soon, so you'll be able to welcome him. Town Planner Oyewale Emmanuel, FNITP. Please help us welcome the commissioner when he arrives at the high table. Town Planner Oladele James, you are expected at the high table as well to welcome the commissioner when he arrives. I would have invited Tabana Moses Ogule, FNITP, to join the high table as well, or he will be taking on a task for now. Probably when he finishes, he will join the high table as well. Kampana Adeyemo Olajide Kamoro, FNITP. Please join the high table as well. Without much ado, let me invite the resource person, in person of distinguished town planner, Dr. Moses Ogule, FNITP. Please a round of applause. This session will be chaired by Town Planner Professor Bashir Odufua. A round of applause, please. The discussants will be Town Planner Dr. Oluwole Daramola, the chairman of Osun State, the former chairman Osun State NITP. You're welcome, sir. Oh, you are succeeded by my senior colleague, a woman. 2. Joining in is Town Planner Dr. Adekunle Balogun. I'm not sure if he's around. Oh, please, you are part of the discussant. No, this person is just waving to something else.
Oh yeah, I know.
The rapporteur will be Town Planner Dr. Adejare Jacob. Town Planner Adejare Jacob. Thank you.
I think I need your introduction.
Town Planner Dr. Moses Ogule, you might proceed while I hand over to the chairman.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I actually have to start by commending the Oyo State NITP chapter for this workshop, and also to seek the permission of the audience by allowing me to sit down and also stand because I'm a teacher. I followed carefully the last presentation, and I picked interest in the discussion, which in one way or the other will snowball into the next presentation by our own, I'll call it Lemon, because he happens to be my teacher, and he's still teaching me, you guess me. professionalism and effective delivery of town planning practice. I put it that way for my own personal reason, which you get to know about it. I have here with me a discusser, and who happens to be a very good friend as well from the University of Ife, town planner Dr. Oluwole Daramola. I will have loved to do a kind of presentation of recitation of the presenter, but I want to believe everybody in this particular hall knows him down into. So without wasting much of the time, I will call upon the presenter. Again, you have just 40 minutes to do your presentation, and I know you as a timekeeper, and I will not allow you to signal that it's time up. You're welcome, sir.
Okay. So everybody, when you move up, no, you go on so we need to welcome ourselves to the back. Delighted to be here to be a resource possible for a lead speaker on this session. I hope we have it on the slide. Have you the slide there? I'm sure you have. I'm sure you have. No. I thank the chairman. When the last chairman gave that man 30 minutes, I said I will request for my 5 minutes during my time. The slides are almost 60. So even if I do 30 seconds for one slide, I know. So thank you, Professor, for giving me 40 minutes. Part of the training for professionalism and ethics is that if they give you 5 minutes, that 5 minutes stay with it. That's part of the training. They give you 10 minutes, stay within the 10 minutes. So I will try to experience and go through that. So, all courtesy duly extended. I have a preamble, and there are two. You first need to say, right is right, even if no one is for it. I'm sure you have it. That is by William Penn. It's when you enter our office, it's in the reception. The other one of our room has wrong is wrong. Look, right is right if no one is for it. Wrong is wrong even if everyone is for it. So the other one says those people who blow the wall, who blow with the wind, who are two-faced, who are hypocritical, praise singers, will not stand for anything. They stand for nothing. That's my accountant, the Nigerian, Jonathan Work. I appreciate Chapter for inviting me. I praise the Institute, the Executive Committee particularly, for leading its capacity development program. And nothing could be more value-adding than when a group or association is training its members. Like the ministry, for instance, training its people. And I said state chapters like this organize more. We used to have one in Lagos. But the chairman of the Lagos chapter we had were addressing our peculiar issue. So I'm going to speak briefly on 5 areas. The first one, the work of professionalism. Then I will speak on obligations in service delivery, the imperative of service, as the third one. I will speak on learning for improved service delivery, and I will round up with practice improvement strategies. I will have to speak, and I said, how can we improve our practice? Now, the first one, the key element of professionalism are knowledge, skill, and ability. I also teach in junior as an adult. So the way I would like students to remember, say the KSA in Soriade. So knowledge, skill, and ability. And I said, for those things, you need to have integrity. So KSA in Soriade plus I. Therefore, a professional man or woman must necessarily have the four. The core value of good ethical behavior for persons claiming to be professional is in the confidence which beneficiaries of their services have in them. The person or group that the professional man intends to serve needs to trust him. You had the last presentation, the last session, speakers mentioned about trust. Just professional bodies tend to emphasize integrity as fundamental attribute and as a virtue which all professionals offer. In the long run, I said it pays to act ethically. It pays, that's a lot of value if you act ethically. The belief is that if a town planner acts with integrity, it will raise the bar of respect from the public. The public will respect those who act ethically, and the respect will also come to the profession. If one of us acts unethically, the professional will be rubbish. If good conduct leads to excellence, then town planning practitioners in the civil service or private sector organization should aim at maximizing acts that promote that respect, honesty, equity, and the truth. Excellent practice requires strong moral foundation. And I try to look at what morality signifies. Moral, there is moral ties. We should know, and indeed we know, wrong from right. Remember how I started. Right is right, even if no one is for it. Contract, now I'm on obligation. Our obligation is about morality. It signifies that we have a contract. Even husband and wife, they have a contract. Then is a promise. When we were inducted as town planners, when I NITB was talking, we all swore to an oath, and that becomes an affirmation. A course of action imposed or binding, because it's an obligation, it's binding on us. And I said the code of conduct of RTPI and the one by Topen, which we adopted in Nigeria, holds obligation as prime in our service delivery. A proper understanding of obligation is critical. I'm aware, even in the civil service, there's what they call general order. I never work in government. The least I had to do my NYC, the land and housing, they call it land and housing office of the government. And it was an experience and whatever. So there's GO, and I know the GO is very strict. They told me that even you can't buy, somebody is walking, you buy from another, it's forbidden by GO. So those are obligations, not mind which sector or practice you belong. So I've just raised some obligations. Number one, duty of care and diligence. We are expected to care for our client, care for the job. We look at Article General Ethics or Article 5 General Ethics. Article 1 or 3 now says you should even care for the environment, our design. So the caring is for the client, it's for the environment, and it's for all that you do because of the work. There's also declaration of interest. I'm sure we all know that, and I gave examples of that. When you have interest in a particular project, you want to declare it. And it gives you a lot of confidence. We will respect that project. The next community is my community. So the HOD will know. Wow, the HOD can now rely on you for information. Not to just keep more and be laughing at them. I really want to because you have all the information. And I said, acting in such manner conforms with the ethos of honesty, openness, and integrity. When you are open, there's a body for being open. Part of professional body. The third, okay, so go and read more about the organization of interest. I go to, okay, I give a lot of case studies on declaration of interest. Number one, it's unethical. Number one, appointment to chair a committee to advise government on whether portion of land in your community, you are part of a community to advise government. You know, in Lagos we call it exile village. The land has been acquired, nobody do release it, and you are in that committee, and your dad is the Balogun, no, it's the Mogaji, somewhere in Ibadan, or Balogun in Ogbomoso, or Balogun in Oyo. It's good to tell the director or the commissioner that I'm from that place. He has the choice now to leave you for the value you are, or to say please step back. The other example I gave is, as a director of staff department, to evaluate the layout of the land owned by one's family, associate or friend, you are likely to be biased. You didn't declare your interest. If you declare your interest, if I'm level 17 and the layout will be reviewed by level 14 officer, I can tell you, Orogun in Ibadan, that's my friend's village. That's my teacher at village. So look at it very well. I've told him I have interest. And I'm supposed to be here. The last one, evaluating a planning report. So many issues are also involved. And I say it's ethical or professional that the interest, attachment, affinity, or ties in such project be thoroughly declared. And I give an example of what Royal Town Garden describe as interest. In your club, religious bodies, family ties, they are interest. All of us have interest in so many issues. Then, confidentiality of information. And I said, because of what we do, particularly those in the public sector, you have so much information about a lot of people. I remember that was sometime many years back, when Daniel was leaving, and the big man also was to call him. Because, you know, when he said, and I met a town that I retired, and I said, this plan, like big man because they know when they get up and they do, oh, am I on? But they kept it, they didn't want, they were politicians. We did some work, for, sorry, it's not doing that, but I'm excellent. For the man that owns Globe. The document is now, it's having drone, and I won't talk about it public. And you will see a medical doctor, maybe the evening, is taking pepper soup and medicines. And they show someone like Toto Dige, who's in Nigeria. Toto Dige, Yege. You know, they give him more. And they say, man of food. And we refer to such as people that have mouth diarrhea, waiting. You don't talk anyhow. So for general order, you keep information. Ethically, you keep information. You protect the owner of information. If you are lucky to be involved in your client has a lot of property, you don't say it everywhere. You know the design, we need the hearing. Because you're going to rubbish the person. Such information must be treated in a way that it is not made known to third parties. I'm sure you can define the third parties. Such information may not be used, should not be used for personal advantage. But I said there will be instances where you don't have a choice. You have to declare this information. If EFCC invites you to come and witness, you don't have a choice. You say everything. If Nigerian police invite you to come and speak, I'm invited to Zone 2, Lagos. We did a layer. We have been on it for 5 years. And the client was selling the land. Our name is on the net. We didn't know that some people pay, they don't have allocation. They told the police that because the company has not finished the work, was they were not exploring approval, that they can't do allocation. And I went to the law and said, if you do have money, you are owing us. It is true we are not finished. but they have a problem with their title document. You can't apply to government when the title is not sorted out. So I thought the police were able to bring on our feet, but it didn't. So people have to tell the police all that we know. So I gave case studies. Please read the case study. They are many. And I said, I gave 4 posters. Number 1 poster. To what extent do you understand your obligation as a staff of Ghana? Number 2, are there hindrances to the discharge of your obligation faithfully? Of course, there could be, or there are. Number 3, have you been yelled at? So the finish here, how do I really do? You know, when you want to follow through, so people will yell at you. And I said, for those in the civil service, to what extent will your discharge of obligation impact positively on our image? I understand there was on image yesterday. You are the mirror of the profession. They see you first before they see us. I have a friend, he's late now, an accountant. We're together in the same office. He was here, I was on the other way. He graduated from protection department. He's an FCA, an accountant. And he told me many years back, Orowa, you know Yoruba, when you say Orowa, it's loyalty. So he was going, that was the era of heavy traffic in Europe. He was going to, I said, come. He said, what exactly do we do? All the town crowd that he knows, because he was here, either working in the bedroom, or I look at them, waiting with them to say, our generator was always wrong. I sat with him, I repeated him. He didn't know what we were doing, because I had to also educate him. So, he sees us through those of you, but he has never interacted with the Ghana consortium, and that should be around 2009. There, I told him what I can do for him. And he has a land in the Korodu which he bought, and we were able to assist him. Now, I will speak briefly on the imperative of service. And I said, what is service? Service is a bargain. It's an arrangement between you that needed a service and a service provider. Remember, it's a contract. It could be a contract. Then, there is value in it. You render a service, you are rendering a service. The man you're also giving the service to is happy because you have delivered well. So for private sector professionals, service must be rendered in a value-adding way. There is a book written by 7 C's of consulting. He said some clients seem consultant. When we come, we complicate problems. And so it is the level of complication that we bring into the service that makes the client to appreciate. I said that clients are now very smart. They can do anything. So we need to be careful in that regard. A well-delivered service is a stimulant for more service or patronage. And when you have more patronage, you have more earnings. So as I said, reward for good work is more work. I'm quoting Babatunde Fashola from our government. And Servicom, federal government of Nigeria, says, service is doing what we are employed to do. Service is what we offer ourselves for. So for public sector, for consultants, because you don't even have a choice, because somebody is measuring those achievements. In 3 weeks, I'm supposed to do this. You didn't do. I know number of calls and emails I get from people trying to confirm. How far will this? We are, in fact, the issue yesterday affected our work. I was to meet the commissioner. I said, my brother, I'm not going to work. So I also need to report to them about traffic. To report to them. Yesterday, no work, you can see. You have to do a big, small report to say no work. The meeting is now on Thursday. So, for public sector, one of the dynamics of development and change, the town planner cannot but continuously search. And we must continuously search for knowledge. It's continuous for us to develop, to deliver service as the best that we can do. because our clients are now very, I don't want to say, very knowledgeable. They can take us up on so many things. We had a meeting with Mobi Cooperative Society, and Mobi has a big land somewhere on Abraham Story, a big joy. They've done a layout. They now want us to access and go and process. And on the layout, there are so many crossroads. And I said, I'm just doing it. So I asked my younger colleague to respond, to comment. I told him, don't start from regulation. Community will not approve that. You are not approving something. You are not approving something. So it started with the issue of safety. They said in the US, road crossing, I said, road crossing in the US, this is Nigeria. We are now very smart. And that work was done by somebody who read planning, but it's not a town plan. Who works for Mobi. There is new knowledge that we should know. And I said only town planner with inquisitive, analytical, inquisitive research for knowledge, and a envisioning mind can initiate a fit for purpose strategy. I don't believe in importing anything that will fit Nigeria. You can't be doing that. And that's why some of the work that Dalalasa did in Lagos, I just like doing something for a particular plan. There's no way a woman can pronounce Origon. You're writing it down, you miss it. But you're about Origon. That's a meaning. So we can't be bringing what I call what is not fit for purpose. New policies and initiatives in various sectors should be analyzed for their implication on the people, on infrastructure and the environment. I've seen that the government is using diesel to power street lights. Can I analyze that? How sustainable? I've seen a better Ibadan in waste management. What has been done now, what was not done before. Before to see an Ibadan with a better green environment, somebody mentioned green infrastructure. We don't talk of green infrastructure for 40 years. It's part of the component of sustainable development. It's a pity the slide is not there. And here I have the Ibadan circular road, and I'm saying what could have happened to the circular road. Here we have the Lagos Calabar road. We have forever beginning to follow due process in getting the project done. Me, I can't talk, because my friends are there. The road beside the project, the man that is doing the here is our friend. He was on the high table. And me, I'm working on the team here. But we are happy they want to do. Even the public procurement law says all this process was happening. Why? But you know the corollary. Because the president knows that if you follow those processes, Lagos Calabar will not start until 2025. And you need to campaign and say, but we can't say everything in the public. I know you heard that I'm the one that will speak. And because we want to realize so those who talk, when you are told the designer, what the company, the contractor, at age item, then we know what is going on. So let me lead the imperative of service. And I talk about what we can do better. And I said, even as state chapter, as consultant, as civil servant, it's difficult for civil servant. I know the realities. But there's something you push into the comments that why eating blood or that this can happen. Bring up the level. Because it's the one that will go and present in their school. It's the one that will receive the applause, not you. You need not tell the government that this idea came for somebody when we are eating body and a bar. So just go through. And I said, under the imperative of service, a major way to improve our service is to hold on to the canon of professional practice that expect practitioners to adhere to the code of conduct. And I said there is need to controvert that we are Africans. Forget about corruption. Corruption has been on. Corruption will continue to be on. We can't have what we call Nigerianization of an ethics is ethics. If it's bad, it's bad. There are ways accommodate some gas. For instance, that's what they call finder's fees. That's what we now. If somebody finds you a job, can allow you, but the client may not know. It will be your own fee, finder's fee. 5%, 4%. Yeah, I'll pay PR. And those are our friends who are in information, those who like it. So PR is our corruption load. So I get posers here. How, for greater relevance, how best should planning service be delivered? What are the threats and opportunity to delivery of town planning service? There are so many threats. Budget is a threat. The belief and the thought of the politician is a threat. You hear what Tabanaro Chebe said. I'm doing a paper in last on Monday on LDT. I started it there, where the governor said, so this approval, this town planning, this new plans, all they will bring are just volume of paper. And the governor said, the volume of paper, I said, I used to have to be an hospital now. And I will be on the media. So, what nature of service does our clients, government, corporate bodies, and individual desire? Then what material, including new bills, new skills are required for practitioners to be at the continent? When I say practitioners, I'm talking about all the three. Public sector practice, private sector practice, and academia. I'm referring to all of us. So, and somewhere here I said, I'm quoting somebody, I'm referring to what we need to know to improve ourselves. Tell me more. Now the last one, on learning for improved service delivery. What do I mean by on learning? There are some things that are here. We need to learn more. We need to drop those ideas and be ready to invite some new thoughts, process, new ways of doing things. Every day we learn. I learn every day. Even the way this room is organized, I've learned. You know, the design of this building, I've learned. So every day we learn. And I quote somebody, and he said, the literates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Every day, when you go to church or mosque, you learn. When the pastor is preaching, you learn. And you know some of them, they goof. Sorry. When they don't say the reality, you also learn. When somebody is trying for ICANN and RTP exam, and he's not in his church on a Sunday, and pastor is saying he's not doing well, and then go fail ICANN or fail corporate exam. You know, so those are the realities. Just leave them and move on. If at every time the town planner in an MBA is engaged in the task, like preparing memo and site, you doing a memo, doing a site visit report, and your guy or the superior is saying you are not doing it right, it means you must be ready to do it better, so that he can tick it that you are done right. So such results, your readiness to learn better will improve your work. So I talked about something we should know. If you are in a zonal office, a change in director, a change in council, even a change in commissioner will change the entire process. I'm sure those of you are saying, we have a new commissioner, we have a new director, even those in federal, or change director has a car. Even when they change the name of the ministry, a lot of circumstances will change. So to properly unlearn and be able to cope with the requirement of effective service delivery, the professional person must be swift on issues like one, swift, otherwise must be able to respond cleverly. Managing personal financial resources. I know it's difficult now to get fuel. Not that it's costly, not even available. So it affects your mobility. You have a project you want to do tomorrow, a site visit. I need to drive to Oyo, that's a challenge. Then time management, team management. If you don't work as a team, you are creating problem for yourself. And there's a story that says somebody went to a psychiatric hospital and imagine his arrow. It's a big place. And there are about 100 mentally challenged people. And 3 guards who are monitoring the 100 mentally challenged people. So you now go there to greet one of the 3 guards. And you as a visitor say, 100 psychiatric patients. 3 of you to manage 100. How are you coping? If they decide to overpower you and deal with you, that's the end of it. You know the response of one of the head of those 3? He said, lunatics don't unite. Only one pay now, so only one will pay to the extent that they will now unite to deal with 3 of us. So if we don't unite, we are like, that's good. So I also mentioned change management. I mentioned emotional intelligence. Let me leave you mind. In Lagos, we tried that the commissioner here now will be a town planner. I didn't like it that the commissioner is not a town planner. I thought I would tell him, today we will leave office. A way of power that we don't know. They thought I wanted to be, I said I don't want. So what we did was, we don't have a choice. To get closer to him. No, more man over to. I want to shift. Okay, to get closer to him. So today, we are the one that say we senior father. We are the one that they rely on to get results. Imagine as a manager, people around. If I call him now, so that's the popular intelligence. So we didn't like that the government didn't put one of us, but they told us why they didn't put one of us. So I just, then philosophy and beliefs about life, it's also an issue. What are our philosophy that we need to either amend or stay with? You can stay with your philosophy. We are not bad in that. That's part of learning. Innovation, thoughts, technology, the profession. It is true that professionals can be influenced by a change in social values in the society. We go to the mistake. You are doing totally training, and the first meeting I was a speaker. I gave scenario. You have prayed in church on Sunday, you prayed in your Juba on Friday, you want to pray for your student or your child who is in Litsi or Crescent University, and somebody now come on in one day, you need 350, and the person brought 350, gone, and it's a corruption. You answer prayer. I'm giving the example, you didn't even listen. When she now asked me that if she had a kind of scenario, how would she respond? They said, you're not listening now. The man was reading your mind. When you get so, all over go away jail. Because the man just got a development plan, seeking for approval, and he shocked, people shocked. But you are not even analyze the drawing. But it will shock it. That means that project like, why don't you allow me and say, Prof, they won't ask me. But when we finish, sir, you know, say, you appreciate. You appreciate. I can tell Commissioner that one. Commissioner said, I'm not going to office for some. As we are leaving, we are giving that gift to the staff. So he's seeing us. We don't brag, it's gift. But to now stand on to say, I don't believe in that. We rubbish ourselves. So I said there is old school versus new school of contentment. You know the way they think now, all those peace issues, our young boys here, they don't believe in it. And I said there is a definition of social value. There's one that says, if you don't get money, hide your face. How can a professional be looking at that? The bad thought. And I said, the structure of the Nigerian economy will also make you not to learn anything new. There's greed, there's absence of social security. Somebody is on 17, he's retiring maybe less than 1 year, and he has not roofed his house. If you are not careful, you won't hear anything ethics. So roof the house. because there's no social security. And we are attempting to do that, we mess up. And I said there's also poverty. There's unemployment, and there's poverty. So this pressure should not change the basics of Article 5 of the Code of Conduct and Practice Regulation for Travel, which is hinged on the principle of wealth without theft. I'm trying to reverse what Mahatma Gandhi said. He said 7 diseases of modern men. And I said, young people not only diseases, 7 diseases. I said, wealth without conscience. You want to make money, but without conscience. So that's what I'm trying to do here. As professional practicing in uniquely corrupt setting, our setting is corrupt. I believe you know. I believe that town planners can still earn good living in modesty without being corrupt. And a good example, at Shiwara, now we're able to make some attachments. It is very sad and worrisome to hear stories of various shades of wrongful and corrupt acts of many practitioners. Somebody didn't attend the University of Ibadan. He forged UI certificates and he said he attended. I was down the committee to investigate. I wanted to go to the process. If you want to go afraid, you need to university, sorry, you are there by university. You are. He said, no. Somebody is in this room, you know the story. Look, minus 12, you know the story. So, for successful practice, town planner in the various sectors need to package and indeed commission, need to customize our service. I saw you going for the Nigerian is developing here an 800 million worth of property, residential property. But the key has not been big. The architect did 169 pages in a day. Surveyors, because they are pushing there. So we also did about 10 drawings, 10 sheets. Topo, detail topo, the one that is not detailed. Everybody is trying to customize his or her stance. So I look at the strategies. I said, number 1, let's develop inquisitive mind, and mind was analytical. Number 2, let's have a business model. For those of us in practice, we must have a business model. How many of us still run due respect, many of us still run economies, business name. Limited liability is what we run, and it's expensive to run. Tax alone. Our auditor was me yesterday. Every month we pay back. He still reminded me as I was on the floor. So we must develop our business model. We must be ready to collaborate and partner and do consortium. And the collaboration, there's what they call fraternity. If I work in, assume I have a project in any state, I should go to the director and just say, my name is Mosu. You probably know my name is Mosu, a town guy. You should give me full regard. That's fraternity. And that's Article 2. We must respect ourselves. It gets things done. Or I call somebody. The project we have in Imo, they are not going to Imo. We are contest about the one. It's the one that will do the work. Why should I define what to win? So somebody this morning put it out on federal. Now federal city. I know that. I'll tell you the name. He tried to get something for his church. And he said he wanted to see me. I said, I will go back to Lagos until Friday. I said, you don't need to come, sir. Can you know it's about our profession? What is it? This is officer just didn't give him due regard. I said, don't worry, sir. Just get me the name and the telephone number. Just get me the name. I will know the person. And he said, laptop. Donated by engineers. A corporate. Last part, you don't want to hear anything from me. Professor. So there's fraternity in the way we should do our business. Fraternity is not about being called. In fact, professionalism is about cons. But not in the negative. We have to all, we call ourselves together. We have number. We know those who join the one court. You only join the court. Like Baba Iwani and Co. Before many. So let's collaborate. The last one on that is, those of us in practice, let's elevate our practice. To register with your state environment register, you need to accredit you. Federal environment to accredit you. Next time, depending on your focus, there's what they call commodity service in general. You do SARA, you do local, those are commodity service. They are readily available. They are the list that you can do. But if you know you want to put energy and compete favorably, SARA will go. So, my conclusion, professionalism is about knowledge, skill, ability, and integrity. When KSA plus I is properly advanced, competence and excellence are promoted. The profession is as strong as the ethics displayed by members in their practice. Professionals cannot afford to carry out their services like non-professionals. Anything goes. Even barbers, they have association. They are there by ethics. I'm even talking about organizer. They have association. They stand by their ethics and they are improving their service. A professional should be distinct. Should be distinctive. It should stand for something. The ability of a professional to act appropriately when his interest and that of others conflict is the hallmark of his ethical. In whatever situation, the supreme essence of professionalism is worthy conduct. A worthy conduct is indeed the service that we want. I thank you very much for your attention.
A round of applause. Permit me to interject at this point. I'd like to warmly appreciate the presence of Emeritus Professor Camp Planner Lai Kujobi. You're welcome in this. I also like to appreciate the presence of the Federal Controller, Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Oyo State Field Headquarters in Ibadan here. Camp Planner Mrs. Gokai Elizabeth E. Thank you. God bless.
I would not like to stand on any protocol because we are all standing on the protocol. I repeat the protocol. Yes, but permit me to just lay on the existing protocol. I will start by appreciating my teacher that is here. He came in late, but it's not unnoticed. Bro, sir, you are welcome, sir. Views in what I know about the plan. Then number two, we play the role of a discusser so that we should have the opportunity to discuss some great issues when it comes to this professionalism that we're talking about. Tampana Ogunlaye's paper was divided into 5 sections. 1, the worth of professionalism. 2, obligation in service delivery. 3, the imperative of service. 4, on learning for improved service delivery. And 5, practice improvement strategies. I took my time to listen to him very well because he's my teacher. And I was actually looking for some gray area where I can actually start from. And I caught him. Professionalism. What makes you a professional? And what exactly are we talking about when we say professionalism? Do you need to go through a kind of training before you become a professional. That is one. Two, professionalism in what? The planning profession. What exactly do we mean by planning? What does it mean? There are diversified views, knowledge, expressions when it comes to the issue of defining what planning is. Do we really understand what we are doing? Do we really understand our profession? I'll give you an example. In the first class of the 100 level student, my first question is, why did you choose planning? Do you fall into planning by virtue of mistake? Does somebody force you to plan? Find out what we have. That most of us that find ourselves in planning never have intention of going into planning. And simply because the knowledge, the experience, nobody shares with most of those who are coming now. And thus, something is missing somewhere. I'll take you back to another area. Planning as an art. Planning as a science. And I will ask again, what makes planning an art? And what makes planning a science? If we begin to experience or try to unbundle facts, we know that planning as an art will take you to the issue of drawing. Planning as a science will take you to the issue of rigorous thinking about what to do and what not to do. But do we often question ourselves? We'll take a practical example here and see if we actually understand what we are doing. Professor, in this hall, can somebody convince me what this is? Anybody? Convince me. What is? Bottled water, one. Yes. Container, two. Water in the bottle. Now, the question is, where is the characteristics of water that gives you the opportunity or the boldness to say this is water? You see, we begin, if you look at this, I can as well call this spirit. It is possible. I can call it spirit. For the Father to have it as a nirvana in your table water does not make it a table water. It could be spirit. And thus, as a professional, we need to find out about the truth. Not sitting down in the office. Okay, this is the site. I'm not going to the site. But somebody have to bring some document to you and you need to append application. As a director, no. Find out, is this thing true? Now, that will take us to the issue of multidisciplinarity in planning profession. Somebody, sometimes the last session, was discussing about personal experience in UCH. Am I right? Yes. Where is the voice of the planners when it comes to physical implementation of our ideas? Do we hide our faces? Do we hide our voices? Where's our voices? We did not to keep our voices in our pocket. No, say it out. Either the government is going to like it or not. And thus, I take a look and say, the planning, the politics, and the reality. What does the ethics? What are the guidelines of the professional says? What are we doing? And are we actually recognized or being welcomed by the government? But for the fact that the government does not welcome our ideas today, does not mean tomorrow we will not be welcome. But we should keep hammering the point. Say it out continuously. One day somebody will listen to us, and I pray we get to the place one day. Dr. Moses left some poster for us. I will pick the first poster. To what extent do you understand your obligation as a town planner in your sector of practice? It's a big challenge. If we actually understand what we are doing, if you actually have a better knowledge of what we are practicing, if you have a grip of what you are delivering, you will be fulfilled in you that I'm doing my best. But in one way or the other, the reverse is the case. Then he went further. Are there hindrances to the discharge of your obligation faithfully? Let us be sincere with ourselves. We have challenges. We have constraints in our different areas of offices that is affecting the effective delivery of the services. But most often, we have to, in one way or the other, look for a way to solve the problem. And leaving the problem to persist for others to also witness such. Are we faithful? He went further again to say, have you been held at for making good effort at discharging your obligation faithfully? Fine. Some people may not like your face. Some may not even want you to be there. But for the fact that you have been held, you have been accused, does not mean that you should not do the right thing. I'll give you an example. There was a situation here in Oyo State. The former governor of Oyo State, that was Alhaji late Lamadeshi, 1999. He claimed that, if I quote him, the state town planners were planning nothing except disaster for the people. They have sacrificed their professionalism at the altar of money. All potential areas of disasters in Ibadan have been approved for building of houses and other structures. This was a statement from the government of the state that we are giving advice on what to do and what not to do. So if the government of the state can give that kind of insulting statement against the professionalism, then where is our voice? We don't need to keep quiet. We need to speak out. Let people understand what this particular profession is all about. I will also take the last one, the last poster. For those in civil service, to what extent will you decide will your discharge of obligation impact positively on the image of your ministry or agency? Myself and Dr. Ogule discussed something very briefly, but you never knew. I just put it in my left hand for me to go back and think about it. Sustainable development. Are we there at all? In most of all the area of socialization and planning, the issue of sustainable development has a way to be used. But are we there? Are we taking note of this? Are we choosing this? The indicators, the approaches spelled out by the sustainable development that we have, is the country there? As a professional, are we also there? Which of these is working well for the community or for our own different organizational community that we find ourselves? Those are some of the posters. And before I go to the last poster, I will call on Dr. Daramola to please briefly in 5 minutes, because of our time, to discuss this particular paper. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my chairman and my elder. I recognize the resource person, my good doctor, Kampana, Dr. Moses Ogunleye, FNICP. It's nice to be here again. I want to say that the lecture that he has given to us is not new in giving such. As he started and he told us the talk, I remember that I think in 2019, when we were at Abeokuta MCPPP, he gave a lecture related to something of this nature. He said that even some of the scenarios, then I tried to use them in certain questions of professional practice for my final year students in OAU. I recognize the people on the I-22. Thank you, sir. And all our fellows, our elders of the chapter, the executive committee members, and also the distinguished members of the chapter. I appreciate you for inviting me to this place as a discussant in this particular workshop. Yes, I'm of Osun State chapter, but I can say that I'm also from Oyo State. Although in this time they may not say that I'm of Oyo State, but I was born in Oyo State. Therefore, I can still lay claim to certain things in Oyo. My certificate is bearing Oyo State, and at least my primary school certificate is bearing Oyo State. So I can say that although I was invited, but my invitation is in form of Omowale. So I'm of Oyo. And yes, I was born in Oyo State. Now that all of those states, that means I was born before Oyo. Yes. Whether it's Oyo or Oyo is Oyo, I was born in Oyo State. So thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity I have in being here. I will briefly discussing the topic that we have presented to us by our erudite scholar and professional, and that is on professionalism and public planning service delivery. In this work, I will not try to repeat what my Oga chairman has said, but I think the people highlight the sections that Oga Moses Ogunleye has made mention, the work of professionalism, the obligations to service delivery, imperative of service, on learning for improved service delivery and practice of improved strategies. He has delved into these 5 areas and he has actually given us what we need to know pertaining to professionalism and how we can correlate that with effective company service delivery. And when we look at what we have heard from him and what the chairman has said, we see that we are talking about the human dimension of our profession. They say that when there is even something that is living in the hand of a dead man, there is no way such a living thing in his hand can be effective. And that's an indication that if we claim to be professionals and we are not people that uphold good professionalism, there is no way that we are going to have that profession being effective. And in discussing this, I will just highlight certain things in order to summarize what he has told us. And let me start by saying this. In his lecture, we can reach one of the conclusions. The following conclusions. One, that is the acceptance of planning will depend on the acceptance of planners, and the acceptance of planners will depend on their practice of ethical professionalism. We can say that we non-planners, especially those of us that are in the public sector, we are more or less like police officers. We deal with the public, even the people in the private sector, and those of us in the academics, we also deal with the public. And when we display certain conduct, when we exhibit certain qualities, and we do all these things in the process of making them know that we are actually planners, the acceptance of the professionals and the planners will depend or will determine the acceptance of the planning profession. And there is no way our acceptance will not be based on our ethical professionalism, because it is what they see in us. When they see that we are good professionals, then they can believe that we are coming up with good products as professionals. So it is very essential for us to be ethical, as he has highlighted in his lecture. And then again, we are being told that in all we are doing, by the time we are relating with our clients, by the time we are relating with the public, we need to build confidence in them. And that's why we talk about being confidential.
Please.
Being confidential when it is necessary. That means we need to build trust in the people that we are dealing with. And that is why we are actually executing the necessary professionalism. And when we are talking of being ethical, he said it when he was talking that whether it is in Nigeria or in America, Australia or in Russia, what is wrong, and what is right. And we should not allow what is happening in our environment to affect our ethical principles. And I may sum this up by saying that localizing ethics is not liquidating ethics. That is, that we are applying, we are executing ethical standards, or we are practicing ethical standards in our environment. We should not, because of that, say, oh, the environmental factors are affecting me, and therefore I will destroy or eliminate these principles, the ethical principles that are expected of me to uphold as a professional planner. And also, we have been told that we should uphold the principle that supports wealth without debt. Yes, we know in our environment, as the Bible said, the fastest is considered the wisest. But there is a book that I read when I was in primary school. It is a small pamphlet. The title is The Shortest Way Home. The conclusion of that statement is that the shortest way home is not always the quickest. That you are moving faster doesn't mean that you will get to your destination faster. And that you will get there faster doesn't mean that you will be effective when you get to your destination. And that is part of what he has told us. And he has also enabled us to know that our profession, planning, whether we are in the academic, in the public sector, or in private practice, planning is the problem. And as a result, planners should also be innovative. The dynamic nature of our profession requires that we learn every day. And I think that is why what the chapter is doing is greatly applauded by many. And I'm not joining them in ensuring that planning is important, and planners should be innovative in order to be able to keep up with the present moving of things globally. Because we are not just planning for environment. When we are talking of best practices, we say in a particular country, there is a best practice there, you need to adopt it. When are we going to have our best practice from Nigeria that other countries will also be able to adopt in their own land? That is what we need to have in mind. Also, Oga talked about collaboration. And when he was citing this example of being approaching the director and regarding himself as a planner, something came to my mind that we need this collaboration, and I call it intrastate and interstate collaboration, or intra-agency and intra-agency collaboration of fraternity. That is, I'm based in Osun, I'm in Oyo now. If I go to Lagos, there should be that collaboration. If it is from federal agency to state agency, there should be collaboration. Local government system to the state government system, there should be collaboration. And not only that, even at the state level, housing and the people in the ministry, there should be collaboration. This will help our profession and will also project us as good professionals that are capable of giving effective services. And then the last one that we talked about here, among those many things that we have said, is that standing by and upholding ethical standards in professionalism. That is, we should have something that we stand for. If we want to ensure effective company system delivery, in Oyo State, in Osun State, across Nigeria, where we find ourselves, we need to stand for ethical standards. Because what we have learned in school, the principles of planning, all the laws that we know of, and every other thing, all these have been made effective when we can uphold ethical standards. So these are the things that we need to take as part of what we have learned in this particular workshop, and in particular pertaining to the paper that Oga Moses Ogunleye has been able to that he has been able to present to us. So this, with this, I want us to, as my last statement, and I will say that professionalism for effective planning service delivery is not just what we profess, but also what we act. So we must know that when we are talking of professionalism, I'm going to ensure effective service delivery in planning profession. we must know that it is not only about profession, it is not only about talking, it is not only about discussion. We may say many good things in this forum and some other where we find ourselves, but we must know that it will be more of action than talking. What we have heard, what we have learned with the different of others, we must abide by them in our various offices and locations. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Before we take questions, I will want us to take something home that I believe is very important. Professionalism and effective service delivery. I'm picking this from the poster that we have. Where lies satisfaction? Professionalism and service delivery. Where lies satisfaction? Satisfaction on the part of the professional, the town planner. Satisfaction on the part of the client, which we can as well call the customers. Satisfaction on the people that we are rendering the service to. Are your people, are my people, is the government satisfied by our different activities? I will leave that as a food for thought. On a lighter note, I will share my planning experience with you because I have some of my friends here in school. One house please. One house please. One house please. Then in the University of Ibadan. I want to refer to this because of the new and the old that Dr. Moses mentioned. New ways of doing things and the old ways of doing things. The old ways which I used to know, then this our blanket, the sheet, this drawing that we do, then as cumbersome as it is then, somebody, a teacher, I follow this, will come one day after you might have spent hours, sleepless nights in the studio to do the drawings, bend your yard, bend your back, and do most of these things, and the person will just come with a red pen. Red pen. And majestically will walk to your drawings. And just like this is how they do hold it. And they begin to say, this is not right. This is not good. Where is the road? Where is the standard? You see, if we continue with that trend, we lose the good service delivery. It's not encouraging. It's discouraging. You see, then in school, my friends, I was hard no person when it comes to drawing. I don't like it. It's discouraging. And I will ask them, and you know, I watch it. I have different people, they will come around me and put I want to see their input because they are experts, they have gone through the polytechnics here and there. And when it comes to drawing, I don't just like it. I'll just say, let me just see how you guys are doing. Put me through. But fortunately, I skipped through. But it's not too good. That is one. Number two, what are the new ways of delivering service? We have a friend, then in school. I don't know if Kola Lawa is here. He's not here. Yes. When it comes to the use of computer system, Kola Lawa, who happens to be our classmate, will sit us down and teach us. And we begin to pick interest. Something you will spend hours in the studio to do. This guy will do it miraculously in few minutes. I will grab and we keep into it. Ladies and gentlemen, take it home. If we don't change the mode of delivering our services, we continue to lose our integrity and we continue to lose our voice when it comes to this particular profession. Thank you very much. I will call on the rapporteur. I will take 3 questions. Please, permit me to just take 3 questions because of the time. Just 3. Yes, sir. 1, 2. Okay, 3. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, since yesterday that we have been on this workshop, I think the whole essence of this workshop is to see improvements in effective town planning services delivery, to make an improvement on what is going on ground in town. I have one experience recently in my area. When I was in the meeting of the landlord association, because they know me as a town planner, and I've never worked with the authority before. I'm not working there, even now. They said that whenever they say anything, they will say, please, what this and so on. I always tell them that, look, I don't work with land authority. Go to so land authority, report yourself to them, and so on. That's another one. Another case, very, very recently, a man was trying to convert little space from his wall to the road, that side road, to shops, and cried out. I said, please, come and see what is going on. Go to land authority. Another one, when they reported to me, I said, okay, I phoned them as land authority because they know me. People that are planted to that, my former students. I said, come so. Please, they reported a certain case in my area. Come and see it. Then I said, they are on the phone. He said, please, Oga, which area? I'm writing it down. By 12 o'clock in the afternoon, we are coming there. The following day, I phoned him. Have you been to that place? He said, no. Why? Because there's no vehicle to take to that place. There are no officers to go to that place. Because I used to remember, in the days of impact, that the Tamil Ogun was fighting yesterday. We used to have various officers distributed to areas to look for, to control developments. And by that time, we have a planning school in physical planning department of the ministry. No such thing again. Then, what do we do now to curb bad development in the environment? We are talking about professionalism. How do they apply it in the environment? We are talking of a green environment now. Yes, in the green environment, if anybody sees a small space now, instead of turning it to green, you would prefer to turn it into a shop, because shop is everywhere, whether it is right or wrong. And by Friday, they will start listening. They want to know that it's wrong. By Friday, they know that's wrong. By Friday, we start it. By Monday, the shop is already up. And even painted. And when anybody wants to put it down, they will give a name. What do we do? You know, we have said now that we have professionals in the academia, in the civil service, and private practice. What do we do to help this situation? Because this is what you are saying now is theoretical. You then go to the town to go and implement it physically. So this is a food for thought. How do they do it? Even the ministry, we had it here yesterday that the ministry, many aspects of the ministry are going against physical planning practices. How do we do it? This is a process for us to take this.
All right. The second question.
Yes, thank you. I have a request. The slide that Dr. Moses Oguleye sent to the secretary.
One house, please. One house, please.
The crashed phone of the secretary. So people are requesting to have your slide. Kindly help us forward to the secretary, Tampana Alibaba. Thank you.
Okay.
I want to ask, what are the guidelines for registration with the Ministry of Environment? If you can give us some bullet points on that so people can know how to go about that. What are the areas of collaboration with the environmental managers who are supposed to take EIA for most of the industries that we have around? And the third question is if an EIR is prepared And the town planner has collaborated with the environmental managers in preparing such EIR. We at the town planning public service, do we still need to ask for the PPAIR? Or should we just consider it as sufficient for the EIR as required by the urban and regional planning law? Thank you. Sorry, please, the last one.
You want to make it 4 in 1?
Yes, the legal issues of legal tender. I think it's actually restricting the presence and the preponderance of planning. If you ask anybody, they want to make a survey plan, and the point is not so far-fetched. If you have a survey plan, if there's any dispute, you have a legal tender. The legal tender we happen to have alone is a plan approval. That is what government recognizes when they want to pay for compensations when demolitions are ongoing. But there are certain requirements that people do ask for, that town planner asks for before approving a plan, which is a survey plan. What is the standard of a plot? General. Who determines that? Who measured a flood-prone area that was presented for plan approval?
Thank you very much.
And how do we cop that?
We take the third one.
Thank you. First of all, I want to applaud our presenter, town planner Dr. Moses Ogunleye, for the brilliant presentation. My own aspect of this submission is contribution, not really a question. As part of a new way to improve our professionalism in delivering an efficient service to our clients of the Republic, I put it as that we should embrace the spirit of sportsmanship and esprit de corps. Esprit de corps means a situation whereby you give accolade and respect to a professional colleague that is trying to render service to the public. Take for instance, we practitioners, we often relate to the public in the area of helping them to seek planning permits, for their various projects. And oftentimes we discover that it takes longer period of time for planning permit to be approved by the appropriate agency, and thereby it always comes back on us that what are your people doing as planning service and as planning agency, what are they doing? We have paid all the necessary dues, we have done this, we have done that. What is causing any kind of delay? What I'm saying is that we should be more proactive in our various activities. I also want to say that we can embark more on consortium, secure a project or a contract that related to planning, and you as a younger practitioner, you are now telling your clients that you can't do the job. I have seen that instances whereby I approach that person that what to do is not good enough. If you don't know what to do about a particular project, partner with others, collaborate with senior colleagues, secure the job, and we have your costs collected easily instead of you saying you don't know how to do about it. Thank you for allowing me.
I call on Dr. Moses Ogunleye to respond to the question.
Please sit. Okay. Sit.
Okay, I thank you for the questions. I will just attempt to answer some of the questions. So, the first about I like to be practical. I mean, that's what I do every day. I also believe in theory. That's the foundation. Now, let's look at it from this way. My answer to your questions and observation. For those in the public sector, don't get tired of writing memos. If you are tired, nothing will move. Raise memo on everything. If I let the commissioner say, I work for you, the only thing you know is how to write memo. it will make a change. It will bring forward changes. Number two, in some agencies, even in federal, some projects, you know what I mean is this. You have a vote, that's what they call it. You have a vote of 4 billion. They accuse them of not spending 20% of 4 billion. So what is the problem? I'm sure in your state that also may be happening. It's happening in Lagos. For one reason or the other, I get the right one. They said they are not able to access up to 70% of that vote. So if you don't do more than 30%, the next budget they will just say give them the same value of 30%. After all, what you spend is 30% of so billion. So it means our people in government should make sure project implementation is made key vis-a-vis what is budgeted for. I know there are problems with funding. There is no fund, as you said, which I also mentioned. I can't use my own money. I'm a civil servant to put forward a project. I know what federal government, federal minister of housing is facing now. They don't release money for you, you can't do anything. That's my own struggle. There is that. They will continue to trouble you because they know you are a town planner. So I'm not too you can't get just like a medical doctor in your neighborhood and the man is saying I don't have hospital, I only teach him, you see it. They will continue to see him as a medical. So marry as the result. So then you are going to make your students, the people that you have taught, use all those strategies to bring them to their results. How you are going to do it is to think too much. Federal Ministry of Environment, I'm sure when you say Ministry of Environment, you are not referring to your state. I believe so. You are referring to Federal Ministry of Environment. One of the happiest moments in practice for me is the day we got the certificate signed by Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Environment, that says our company can do some work, studies on environmental impact, training for people. I was happy because we lost a lot of opportunities because our company was not registered. What we did was to partner with the company of my friend. You see our name and his name until we got our own. Even when we have our own, we still work together. He's the one that said he's doing the EIA for the coastal route, the first sector from the hotel to Eleko. And he's a big so to register with them, if you say your team is only degrees in overall planning, they won't register you. You must convince the Federal Ministry of Environment that yes, you are a town guy. But in that team, you have one, a chemical scientist, biochemistry, or BSc chemistry, a geologist. So they know that the EIA they will accredit is a specialized job. For instance, we have a partnership with a laboratory in Lagos, a laboratory that they all know, like Nestra, by everybody. There is no way MOA planners will bring the agreement between us and that company, and they will say yes, we got a good partner. So every project we have, they are the one who sent to do air quality analysis, to do data, to do water analysis. Therefore, air, water, noise, trying to get the first one. And they take them to lab, and it's a result that we use in our appendix. They sign everything, and they are the one that. So, have a strong team, have a civil engineer or an environmental engineer, 2 town planners, a degree biochemistry or microbiology, and you give them evidence of what you have done before. They will talk to you, you want to see what you have done before. And I'm sure with that. There are 3 areas. They can limit you to EIA alone, but we do EIA, flood and erosion control, and it's on our certificate. But we won't do, can register you to be importing chemicals. And for another, we won't do that. Everything concerned with chemical importation. So that is, but Nestra too. We have to register with Nestra. Those are the things they look at. We have a team that work for us. And when you are working for us, we give you a letter of appointment. And the lesson is that those you are bringing to your team must be people that trust you and they know you. Because if you have a project and you are not being paid, and you tell them we have not been paid more than 40%, therefore, wait, carry, we'll pay you when they pay us. There's a team that somebody got to work with him, he's working with us. They were fighting on the email. I was one solving the problems. With due respect, the man is a Unilag lecturer. So he doesn't know what we'll face. So he doesn't believe when he finishes his work, pay him. We paid him substantially. It's my friend that brought him, he's one that did the investigation studies. So I had to intervene. We are not being paid, please give us some patience. It's a job that the people want to get concession, federal government concession. If you Google infrastructure construction agency, they must give no objection. So it's a big job, or wait, you never pay, when they pay us, we pay you, we have values. So, then, it's about the law, PIA or the other report. What does the law say? Lagos did something in December last year, we didn't like it. This environment brought down the job that hitherto need, that was only PIA. PIA by Lagos State, the director called me and I said, I'll call you. They now included projects that anything above 8 unit residential. I said it's true, I was one electricity center to go and defend. So for me, for our company, it's good for us. But I don't like it. You know, anything, hotel, before hotel wasn't. Development of 20 floors, 30 floors. We don't have 20 floors. As big as Lagos is, how many 20 floors we have and above. Now they brought it down, they want to be busy. You say it's their law, but we know it's not in their law. So it's a challenge. So if you do 8 floors in Lagos, do AI, that spiritual environment will approve. They do it almost similar to federal environment. But the duration is shorter. Because we have accused them. Developer will run away. If for 6 months, you don't get AI approval. It's for bigger projects, petrochemical. Federal environment will do it. Which is a small scale project, expanding an hotel, building an hotel, doing a petrol filling station. In fact, for more, 2 months, the one in Dubai, I'm going to qualify for here. Otherwise, Lagos will come and seal up. Legal tender, my submission on that, I hope it's practicable. Let no approval be granted for any site that is not captured or that does not have a layout. If there is no layout, you shouldn't grant planning permit or development permit. I don't know what to call it today. For life, Professor Ilobi and Kogulo, I think it's the oldest Tampana here. Baba is in Lagos now. Baba is 92. He's the one that designed Gideolu Estate. Gideolu Estate by Baba designed the one by Gideolu. This one is an Obibo. There's a boundary, it's popular estate in Lagos, just by Gideolu. Oniru. Baba designed Oniru. 40 years after, he's still earning income from Gideolu Estate. Because to review, I think recently the cabinet CEO want to change. Baba is telling me and what I did to be doing at 92. So, designed 40 years ago, every amendment still go to AA Awesu and Co. So if you have a layout that you have done, sir, even if it's one, you did it 10 years ago, and you get one for the next 30 years. Because every amendment, every review was designed by you. So let all our approval be within there. Lastly, the people I'm presenting on Monday, I said only 11 state capitals, we try to do a research, only 11 have master plan. Added Ibadan, and your own is now about 4 or 5 years now, 8 years. So if all of them have master plans, and 774 LGAs have development plan of any kind, district plan, town plan. We'll be busy. 774. I won't be doing that again. 774 master plan, and they pay us well. If we are already, we'll be happy. So thank you very much.
Dr. Adeyari.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. In a moment, we want to summarize the paper. And the paper we have this afternoon is titled Professionalism and Effective Town Planning Service Delivery, delivered by Tampan Moses Ogunleye. And the focus of the paper is divided into 5. Number 1 is the work of professionalism, obligation, and service delivery, the imperative of service, on learning for improved service delivery, and the last aspect of the paper talks about practice improvement strategies. Under the word of professionalism, it made us to know that there are key elements that we need to know. Number 1 is knowledge, 2 skill, ability, and integrity. So all put together, and it enhances a good professionalism. Then the second aspect, which talked about obligation of professionalism, he gave us some key components, key obligations under the obligation of professionals. 1, he talked about duty of diligence and care. He also talked about declaration of interest. Under the declaration of interest, he gave us some case studies that we need to know. Then he talked about openness and integrity. Then under that same declaration of interest, he talked about evaluation, evaluating the planning report. Then the last aspect under the key obligation is confidentiality of information. That is, planner as practitioners has to be confidential in disseminating information. Then he gave us some posters, as we have been told. The first poster he gave to us is that to what extent do we understand the duties of profession. And the second poster talked about are there hindrances to the delivery of our services. Then have we been yelled at in the process of delivering our service before. Then within the paper, I also talked about the imperative of service. And he said service is a bargain between 2 or more people. And he gave us some of the things that we need to know. And he said that service must be rendered in a value-adding way. And at the same time, he said that we should hold on to a canon of service delivery as an individual practitioners within the built environment. Then he mentioned some of the threats to this imperative of service. The first one he mentioned under that is budget as a threat. He talked about nature of service, desire, material required for practitioners. Then he went ahead to talk about on learning to improve service delivery. On learning to improve service delivery, where he was able to give us some key factors that we need to know for effective service delivery. He talked about time management, team management. He talks about managing the resources. He talked about emotional intelligence, philosophy about life. And at the same time, he talked about old school versus new school contentment as individual. Then he mentioned something about nature of Nigerian economy, which is affecting effective service delivery. And the last aspect of his paper talked about strategy for effective service delivery. That is practice improvement strategies. He mentioned some of those strategies. And the first one under that was to develop inquisitive and analytical mind. Then business should develop business model. Then there should be collaboration, partnership, and consulting among professionals. Then the last one talked about evaluation of practice. And he concluded the paper by saying that professionalism requires adequate integrity, and action that keep the ethics of practice. Then professional should be distinct and maintain a worthy conduct to enhance effective service delivery within our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think on that note of collaboration, we have done justice to this particular session. On behalf of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners Oyo State Chapter, also in collaboration with the Oyo State Ministry of Works of Housing and Urban Development, I want to appreciate your audience, your patience, and ability to contribute towards the development of the professionalism. Thank you very much.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Moses Ogunle, thank you for your time. I would like to appreciate the patience of the representative of the commissioner, His Honor Akinfunmilayo Williams, ably represented by Mr. Raji Moruf, the Director of Admin and Supply. Sir, you may now proceed with your program message.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to crave your indulgence to apologize on behalf of His Honor, the Honorable Commissioner of the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Mr. Akinfunmilayo, who is unavoidably absent here today. Much as he tried to be among us, the exigencies of the office proved otherwise. So I want to once again crave your indulgence to allow me as his representative to go ahead and reach his prepared speech for this memorable occasion. Thank you. Commissioner's speech on capacity building at the two-day workshop held at the Federal Secretariat in Calabar, Ibadan, on 20th to the 21st August 2024. Distinguished town planners, ladies and gentlemen, and invited guests, I appreciate the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners (NITP) Oyo State Chapter for deeming it fit to organize this capacity building workshop for all practicing town planners in Oyo State in collaboration with the Oyo State Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, all towards ensuring efficiency in the practice and effective professionalism. It is an absolute honor to be standing before you today to share a few thoughts on the key of promoting professionalism and effective town planning services delivery in Oyo State. Oyo State, being a physical state, has experienced rapid urbanization and growth in the past decades up to the present time. This calls for urgent planning to avoid slum generation. As we are all aware, town planning is a crucial aspect of our daily lives. It affects everything from transportation and infrastructure to housing and emergency services. Effective town planning ensures that our cities, towns, and villages are living and conducive for doing business and residential activities. To achieve this, we need to promote professionalism in town planning services delivery. This means that we must have qualified and competent professionals who are equipped with necessary skills and knowledge to carry out their duties effectively and efficiently. Professionalism also entails that the town planners should adhere to ethical standards, uphold integrity work to benefit the public interest and avoid conflict of interest. We must also recognize that effective town planning services delivery requires collaborative efforts between government officials, town planners, developers, etc.
Therefore, it is crucial to have effective communication channels to overcome the misunderstandings and conflicts that can arise from different opinions or planning decisions. In addition, we need to utilize good data and research to support town planning decisions and consider the socio-economic and environmental implications of any town planning development project. This approach not only improves the likelihood of success for town planning projects, but also benefits the people who live among them. As part of the work of to promote professionalism, the present administration in Oyo State under the leadership of Engineer Shimakide FNC is working on the amnesty program. Granting building permits within 60 days in the state. The Oyo Building Permit Amnesty, Oyo PPA, is an initiative aimed at regularizing buildings that were constructed without proper government approval or in violation of building regulations. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize that promoting professionalism and effective town planning services delivery in Oyo State should always be a priority for all stakeholders involved in the town planning process. Let us work together in a collaborative effort to ensure that our towns, cities and villages are not only safe, habitable, but also sustainable for future generations. Thank you and God bless you.
MC.
We appreciate you, the Director, Admin and Supply, Mr. Raji Maruf Olaide. We've heard a lot and perception and participation of town planners in society to have active inclusivity now lies with us. But who is the government? Are we not the government? We all know how we develop our neighborhoods without government approval. The law dictates that the local planning authority should prepare local plans and submit to states. The state is indebted to integrate these plans to form regional plans. But how far have we been able to do that? Without the law that regulates practice being assented to by the assembly and the governor of the states, what can the town planning offices do? The Bible says if the foundation is faulty, what will the righteous do? There are a lot of posters that I believe that everybody will take home today. And I would like us to ruminate within ourselves, bring up papers. I will implore the Secretariat as well to put up recommendations for this workshop that could be presented, that could be published, that could be advertised to bring the touch of planning to the nooks and crannies of the state. How do we engage the informal sector? Because if everybody looks towards the planning offices, like I asked yesterday, what or how do you control what you do not own? A large percentage of the landmass in this state is still within the grips of the informal landowners. We call them the Omoniles. The state enacted the Land Grabbers Act, but how far can we actually put that to practice? How many people have been charged for land grabbing within the state? How many have been convicted? How many have been punished? I don't think we have any. The Rapporteur General is actually
putting up the communique, and I will use this podium immediately that it is ready to take on the mic so that we have an overview of what we have done for this 2-day workshop in promoting professionalism and effective town planning services delivery, not only within Oyo State, but in this region and at large in Nigeria as a whole. Now I hand over to town planner Dr. Adeyemi.
Good afternoon, professional colleagues, senior colleagues, and guests. The communique, I will just read it, and we just only read it, but if there's anything you want to add, please, I need somebody to help me to correct.
Show me what type. Show what type. Show what type.
Can I start reading it? Okay. Communique of Nigeria Institute of Town Planners Oyo State Chapter Workshop, which was held on August 20th to August 21st at Federal Secretariat Conference Hall in Kolaba, Ibadan City, Oyo State. 2. The workshop brought together practicing planners both in the private sector and in the civil service, experts, stakeholders, and participants from various sectors to discuss the theme promoting professionalism and effective town planning services delivery. The first day, the keynote address was delivered by the president of Nigerian Institute of Town Planner in the person of TPL Nathaniel Atebide. After the keynote address, the chairman of Oyo State Institute of Town Planners in the person of TPL Professor Jelili Eno was the lead speaker, and he dwelt on capacity building and strategy for effective collaboration in physical planning service delivery. He emphasized that only indigenous town planners can plan sustainably in Africa. He said that only Africans can plan African cities without problem. He said, and then furthermore, he said the attitude, the practice of our leaders employing foreign planners to come and plan for us in Africa is not acceptable and is not sustainable. Then the director of town planning in Oyo State, Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, represented the Commissioner for Lands, Housing and Urban Development. I was ably represented by the Director of Town Planning. I think you are the Director
of Admin and Supply.
Director of Admin and Supply. Okay. Now, the first paper of the day was delivered on the 20th and was delivered by town planner Ayo Adediran, FTF-NITP, which was on promoting public image of NITP, expectation from the leadership and the followership. The focus of the paper are 1. Town planning services. professionalism, characteristics of a good professional. Those are the real points taken from that paper. Then the fourth one is the perception of the public about town planning. Then the fifth one was promoting public participation in urban planning. Then the last one, which is the sixth one, is leadership ability and followership ability. The second paper was presented by Professor Bolande Wahab, but ably represented by Dr. Shegun Falola. The topic was life experience of professionals, elders' perspective. The paper extracted the general experience of Professor Bolande Wahab as a town planner and that match both teaching and professionalism in the real world. He emphasized the importance of indigenous knowledge, mentoring, and building capacity for upcoming planners. The top paper for the day was delivered by Dr. T.P.L. D.K. Ogusesan and titled Breaking the Barriers of Ignorance in Town Planning Services, Delivery and Practice Stakeholders Role. He emphasized the importance of retaining geography as a fundamental subject for admission into town planning school in the country. He also recommended that the role of the Nigerian urban and regional law of 1992 as a guiding for the planning practice for federal, state, and local government. The third aspect, he emphasized that the frequent change of planning institution for the Development Control Agency has affected the progress of planning practice in the country. The second paper of the day witnessed another explosive topic, which the presenter whose name is TPL Shehu Raji. The topic is planning with communities for sustainable planning and practice. He emphasized on incorporating green infrastructure to mitigate the impact of climate change. The second aspect of the paper, he advocated for efficient public transit system, mixed use zoning to promote walkability and reduce long commuting, prioritizing inclusive, equitable housing. Fourth, he recommended Sustainable Development Goal 11 as an approach to improving physical planning practice. 5, he stressed community engagement through improved communication, participatory partnership, and educational extension. The final paper of the day was delivered by TPS Dr. Moses Ogunleye. The topic he presented is about professionalism, effective planning service delivery. It was divided into 5 sections. The work of professional one, the paper was divided into, please, hello. The paper was divided into 5 sections. 1, the work of professionalism. 2, obligation in service delivery. 3, the imperative of service delivery. 4, on learning for improve service delivery. 5. Practice improvement strategy. He finally recommended the following. Professionals should be distinctive, standing for something. Then 2. A working conduct is needed for service delivery. 3. He said planner must be inquisitive and analytical in mind. Thank you very much. Is there any addition or subtraction? Is there any addition or subtraction before we go and sign out? Is there any addition or subtraction? Out. Hello? Is there any addition or subtraction from this? Into what we have done. Can we go ahead and catch it?
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause for the Rapporteur General. We applaud your presence and your patience. All distinguished ladies and gentlemen in the hall, God bless you. But I'm not here to say the vote of thanks. We have a closing remark, and I'll be looking for the organizers of these events. I couldn't find any. That was why there was a short break in transmission, because they've not appointed a person. So, do we have any colleague who is ready to give a closing remark for the 2-day workshop?
Doctor, should be emotional. DJ.
Thank you very much. Please, I don't comment on the Rapporteur General. I want us to be more concise of the summary of this meeting, and let's not complete the statement, the concise statement that should be published and that should get to those that are relevant. It should be more precise.
Hello? Please, I need to get in touch with the committee that organized this workshop. We need to agree on a brief summary of what to be presented to the people that matter, I mean the policy makers and decision makers. We can't just jump into it like that. But why I read all the summary of those who have presented paper is that if there is any addition or subtraction, so that when we are writing the summary, we won't say that, oh, this thing would have been added or this thing would have been subtracted. That was why I asked initially that do we have subtraction or addition? But as for the summary will be done later. I'm going to liaise with the organizers of the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let me now hand over to Kaplan Taiwo Ilami for the closing remark for the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the organizing committee of the workshop, I, Kaplan Taiwo Ilami, appreciate all members present, starting from our Honorable Commissioner in absence, to all the fellows in the house, to all my professional colleagues.
we will discover that this is just the beginning. Though there are a lot of things for us to trash out, and that's why I love the statement that MC said, that there will be a lot of this thing coming up next year, and the secretary has said it. Next year is another time. The actor comes too, because we didn't have sufficient time in which we will discuss certain issues affecting Atokon and then the roles of Atokon in the profession. Please, you will bear with us that we cannot come up this year, but next year is another year for us. I really appreciate our resource persons, the discussants, and the chairman, the rapporteurs, and every individual members present for this year workshop. And I pray that your intelligence, your knowledge will not go in vain, that will increase in wisdom by the grace of God. So by next year, we shall be expecting you. And please, because of the team that we have today, let us go out there to disseminate information, to educate the public about town planning profession. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for bailing us out. Now we should have a vote of thanks. Oh, thank God. Tamplana Ali Balogun, you won't take just in time for the vote of thanks. Or I should scrap it and take Tamplana Ilami. So, let me bring it to your notice that the collection of certificates will commence after the closing prayer by town planner Michael Adeyemi.
Thank you very much. Please let us pray. Please, immediately after the closing prayer, we can just come for our certificate. Father, in the name of Jesus, we worship you, we give you all glory. We give you all adoration. We thank you for this 2 days workshop. We thank you because you remains control. Be thou exalted, Lord, in the name of Jesus. We pray for all who've learned the ability to put it into practice, to give to each one of us in the name of Jesus. We now pray for the institutes. We pray you move us forward in the name of Jesus Christ. We pray for all our leaders. We pray you give them all wisdom, understanding, and knowledge in the name of Jesus. We pray for all of us that we go to our different destination. We pray you give us mercy, God, in the name of Jesus Christ. We pray for our nation Nigeria. We pray everything in the world with our nation in the name of Jesus. Thank you because you answer our prayers. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Esteemed